London AIM and Australian main market listed Thor Mining is an exploration and mine development company with interest in a wide range of interests in the base metals markets, copper, uranium, vanadium. I've also got an interest as well in gold, which of course takes us into precious metals. Nicole Galloway Warland is managing director. She's also director of the Australian Institute of Geoscientists. Nicole, it's great to be able to catch up with you. Thanks indeed for your time. It can't have gone as unnoticed from those that are interested in this that this is a really true penny stock story. And you're trading, as I said, here in London and in Australia. Just explain what it is you're doing with this relatively wide range of metals.
Good morning, Jeremy. Yes, so we have quite a diverse portfolio of projects, as you mentioned, focused on what we call commodities for the future. And I suppose the board's strength is very much exploration and adding value through discovery and development. So that's really what we're trying to achieve with our projects. So at our Ragged Range project over the Pilbara, this is a fairly greenfield play, and we really feel we've got the strengths to add value to that project through discovery. Likewise, in the US, one of our other directors, Mark McGough, and myself have a strong uranium background. So again, we feel we've got the right skill set to really drive that project forward.
How can a 7.5 million Aussie dollar company afford to have interests as widely spread as you have got? Keeping all this under control for such a small company must be a difficult task.
Look, it is, and we do need to prioritise our not only our funds but also our work activities. So some of our projects are seasonal. So Ragged Range over in the Pilbara is currently our field season. So that's why we're midway through our drilling program. Once that's finished, we'll then be moving to the US to commence drilling over there in their US summer. And then so that's how we sort of work the projects and move them forward.
This is not a cheap part of the operation either, these drilling projects and so forth. Where are you getting the money? How well capitalized is Thor Mining at the moment?
Look, we've got just under 2 million in the bank, so we do need to watch our pennies, our dollars. But I'm a firm believer that if you don't get on the ground and drill your projects, your targets, then you won't have discoveries. So you do need to spend money to move your projects forward. So, at times that can be challenging, and you do need to prioritise these projects and the targets that you're drill testing.
Yeah, let's bring up a share price chart because I think it's important to be able to see what's going on and how the markets are interpreting what's going on as well. Because we also have to admit the fact that this share price chart is pretty much taking into account the fact we've got a big decline across pretty much the entire metals complex on the markets generally. How difficult is it at the moment to attract investors into this stock? What are you saying to potential investors about where this is likely to go?
Look, you're right. Our share price has been heavily impacted over the last month or so, and I feel we're very much undervalued, and the market is not really recognising our projects. And what I'm telling shareholders is we are on the ground. We are, actively exploring. We've got some great targets in our Ragged Range project. We're drilling currently a gold, 13-kilometre gold strike, and also a nickel Gossan. So good targets there. And also, advising them on our US uranium vanadium project. And this is in the Uravan mineral belt. Highly prospective area for some really good uranium and vanadium resources. So I think we're really leveraged for success.
Let's talk a little bit about the underlying markets. Uranium, one of them, of course. What is it about this market that attracts you so much to this space? And what do you think the future is like for uranium?
Look, I think I touched on it earlier. One of our other directors, Mark McGough, and myself both have a strong uranium background. I worked with Uranium SA and was involved in a small uranium discovery here in South Australia, the Sandfire project. Mark was with Toro Resources. So when we saw this project, in particular Wedding Bells in Colorado, Utah, we were immediately attracted to the prospectivity of the area. Having said that, this area was drilled up until the 1950s when uranium really had its boom days. And I think we're going back to that as the world moves to lower carbon emissions. Nuclear energy is really the best way forward, I feel, to lower those carbon emissions and have a baseline power. So you have that, but also we have obviously the Ukrainian Russian invasion. That's also impacting the geopolitical stability of uranium, and particularly the Russia produces about 35 to 40% of the uranium, the enriched uranium. So this has a huge impact on the supply chain and obviously the geopolitical situation for uranium.
How about the copper markets? Because this is another area of intense interest at the moment as we see the ambitions for more electrification around the world. I'm constantly hearing that copper is pretty much one of the main places to be. Look at the share price, the stock price of copper, or rather the price of copper on the LME. I mean, it's just absolutely been decimated, and indicating, I guess, in part, some of the projections that we could end up going into surplus next year. But that is only a marginal view from some people I know. But I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that, because as the price of copper comes down, it then takes a lot of producers out of the market if their cash costs are quite high. So I'm not quite sure where the balance goes from here. And how do you at Thor Mining expect to play into this market?
Look, I think the short term might be to see the copper price drop and a bit of a surplus in supply. But I think mid and long term, we're going to go back into a much higher copper price and a long term deficit, shall I say. We're seeing higher costs in mining, like you said, so that's impacting. But I think with electrification, renewables, there's definitely going to be a deficit as we move forward. And to get new projects online, that takes up to 20 years to get an open cut or underground copper mine from exploration to mining. So that's where we're going to see the shortfall in supplies. And so from Thor's point of view, we're looking at in situ recovery. So at our Alfred East project, that's what we're developing it and assessing it for. In situ recovery has a much quicker turnaround to go from exploration through to production, and it's a 3 to 5 year sort of turnaround based on results and approvals, etc. But this is significantly faster than any traditional open cut or underground operation.
Okay, let's return the focus back onto the company and work out what's happening in the next 6, 8, 10, 12 months or so. What's your in-tray looking like at the moment? And I know, as well as a bit of background to this, that you are looking ahead now without a non-exec chairman who's had to stand down, Mark Potter. Where are you going with the business? What's going to happen?
So Mark Potter has stepped down as chair, and in the interim we have Alastair Clayton, who was a non-executive director, move into the interim chair position. So we are looking for a chair. But our strategy has not changed. We're very much focused on advancing our projects, adding value through discovery and development. So that has not changed. So over in the Pilbara, we're currently midway through our RC drilling program at the Sterling Prospect and the Corona Prospect. That should be finished in the next week or so, and we should be seeing the results come through in the next month with assays. And then moving over to the US, we anticipate being drilling there in August. So again, we'll have strong news flow from our uranium vanadium project over in Colorado. So they'll be our sort of key areas of value add, shall I say, and then we'll be moving to our Alfred East project.
Yeah.
So very much focused on advancing those. Sorry,
yeah, please go on.
So very much advancing each of the projects. We do know at the moment we have a bit of a delay with the assays, so that allows us to move on to the next phase and be working on another sort of project, shall I say, while we're waiting for assays to come through.
Yeah, lots going on. Look, Nicole, we've got to leave it there, but thanks for joining us. It's interesting catching up with you and your view of the world from Thor Mining. Pleasure. That's Nicole Galloway Warland, Managing Director of Thor Mining, with an update on what the company's doing in the context of these tumbling base metal prices. For more videos from us here at IGTV, join us on Twitter at IGCom, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.